All right. Who was that first spiritual experience you'd like to share with us?
I have one.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so this morning I woke up, listened to one of the CDs, right? And I saw like it was so clear. I saw black and blue blocks, right? And it started to separate, and I saw either my grandma or my aunt, I think it was, she was wearing a red dress and some white earrings walking somewhere. It was so clear and vivid.
All right.
And it just surprised me to see that. So what was it all about?
You jump in time. You jump in dimension.
Okay.
And that's a wonderful thing. What you did is you encroached on her reality.
Say it again?
You went to her reality.
Okay.
Right, I have a sister that was living with me, Terry Stevens. She loved her grandmother dearly. She used to make pastry and cakes for her when she was a little girl and all that. And Terry was kind of overweight, so she didn't have many friends. So her grandmother was her best friend. So when her grandmother died, she missed her so much. She asked me one night, I was asking, she said, "Auntie, would you please take me to see my grandmother?" So I agreed, and I took her to see her grandmother. Her grandmother was bent over in a garden. That's where Terry says she spent most of her time, working with a garden hoe, and she had an apron on. And Terry just broke away from me and ran to her. Her grandma said, "Terry, how'd you get here?" And turned around, they started hugging and talking and laughing and kicking up old times. And I just watched them enjoy themselves for quite a while. And then I told Terry it's time to go back. And then so she reluctantly came to me, and I placed her back in her body in my home. But yeah, you can go to loved ones, and that's what you did. Next time, if it's a loved one, I'd like you to try to call out her name and approach her, all right?
Oh, wow. Okay, I will.
Okay. All right. Next spiritual experience. I want to say that the event is definitely going to happen. We're going to have a coronal explosion of the sun. And my theory is that there's going to be a lot of end times madness. I want you to listen to me. Because everybody's not going to adjust very favorably to the intensity of the event, the shift. And they'll feel like they're being attacked by a lot of evil, and they'll be confused by a lot of things. But it's called end times madness. You need to look it up if you don't know what I'm saying. Look up end times madness. Also, for those of you all that are confused or wondering about what a stargate is, if you can imagine it, like you're in a room, and there's a sphere of light on the floor, hovering above the floor. And then they got 4 or 3 portals of light directed straight at it. And that, what it does is makes it seem like anybody that goes toward that sphere, as they approach the stargate, it seems like the floor is sinking and they're going down with it as they enter into another dimension. All right? So just remember that you'll have the feeling of sinking or going down when you enter to the stargate. But not to worry. It's just a shifting into another dimension. There'll be a lot of different things that you all have to adjust to, like the reality of being a whole light being after you shed the physical body. And remember, the hardest thing to convince the dead of, if that's what you want to call it, is that they're dead, because they don't feel any difference whatsoever. Are you following me? All right. With the noise in the background, please mute your phone. Now, who was that next spiritual experience or that first question?
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
So, once you make the transition and you get outside your body, right? Then what happens? What do we do next? What happens next? What do I do next?
It depends on what you create, because we're creating our own reality. You have to understand that this is a conscious reality, and it's pure consciousness. And through consciousness, we can do anything that we can imagine. You just understand that it has to be a unified consciousness field, right? But as far as you as an individual, you create your own reality. So, mind your mind for the dues of your soul. It's like you guard, you're particular about the things you put in your body as far as what you are, what you eat. Be very careful about what it is you absorb mentally, what you put in your mind. I wouldn't be focusing on Freddy Krueger and just being persistently running after the bad news on TV. And more important, don't frequent negative or bad future phones. Don't frequent the kind of company that'll keep the line open in a class like this. Stay away from those brothers and sisters because they're evil and negative. Be careful in your homes when you invite negative people, because if they're a draconian spirit and they sit on your furniture or use your dishes, your cups you drink with, your toilets to sit on, any of your clothing, and spirit is not something that can be washed out with detergent. So even when the negative person leaves, the stain of that ugly spirit is still in your furniture, your clothing, on your cups. And if you have very good children, for example, or a good mate, and they come home and they sit in that spot or use that cup, then they have a shift in attitude. And you say, how was your day? God damn how my day was. Why you always have that, they could be influenced by that evil being that was around your furniture or in your home. You understand? So it goes without saying that you don't want to have a friend like that, because you walk side by side with them, shake hands with them, hug them, and what have you. You're going inside their spirit. And that negative, just like you used to tell your kids, don't run with bad people. Don't keep bad company. Remember that? Because when they're around bad people, they have a tendency to start acting just like them. Don't you know that? They're rubbing shoulders with those evil auras. Is that clear? I wanted to say also, I want to tip my celestial hat to the brothers that came and sacrificed their time and expertise to work on the computers. Bless your hearts. And also that there's spiritual packages going in the mail tomorrow for Amanda, Zybe, June, and Katat. Who got that next question? Right, who back? Next question. Family.
I got a question. Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, now you said you were talking about the event. Will people change into different realities as well when that's going on?
Oh, yes. Completely different. You may recognize a tree as a tree, but it won't be in the same place, and it'll be a lot larger, for example. And the general environment will be tranquility. Won't be hectic with car horns blowing and people throwing wine bottles and cussing. Won't be no dogs barking or police sirens. Just bliss. From that point on, there'll be no more negativity. That's why evil people can't go there, because they love to keep up hell. And when it's peaceful, like in a class, it makes them so they can't handle it. So they have to figure out a way to mess up the class or make noise or turn on music. They got to do something to be a disrupting force, because evil is their energy, it's their nature. Do you understand? So they could never exist in paradise. They're cut off for eternity, forever, to stay behind with that which they create. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Them and the filthies like them. One love. Next question. on any subject. All right, June has something he was going to share with you all, so this would be a good time for him to interject.
Oh, I was going to ask a question.
Okay, what is your question?
So, what's been on my mind is those of us that are taken up with you before the event. Will this taking up with you be something that where we will have to be how to put this, our aura, will we have to be that of an aura of green or higher and not amber light?
Say it again.
To make the shift with you.
Yeah, your aura will have to shift to a blue light spectrum or violet hue or higher. Yeah, you know, it can't ever be amber or red because that's an indicator that you're vibrating along with draconians, reptilians. And it can't achieve that height.
Okay, so there's no exception.
No exceptions to the color of the hue. There's one exception, is that you can always change the frequency by changing your mind. All your aura is a dictionary of your emotions or thoughts. Your aura doesn't create your moods or your thoughts. It's only a dictionary of them. It's a reflection of your thoughts, your mood, your health, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
not the reverse.
Just to be clear. So people heard, right? There is no exception to the rule. You have to be vibrating at a high frequency of color green, blue, or violet.
Well, green again is malachite. That's the realm of the angels. You would like to make a higher ascension than that, but I mean, I wouldn't discount green. You know what I mean? But if you really want to ascend, you should try to achieve the blue light or the violet hue. You follow? But in the event that you have a red or amber aura, then it's not like you're stuck. You just have to understand that it's the dictionary of your emotions and your moods. So it informs you of the way you are thinking. You follow me? So to change the aura, you simply have to change your mind. Stop thinking like a demon. And your aura will reflect that. You understand?
Sure.
Immediately. As soon as you stop thinking in the gutter and you start thinking positive, like a deity or an angelic host, your aura will reflect that.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. And if you ever see somebody approach you with a gray or a black aura, run, okay?
Sure.
Because you know what's on their mind, right? Red rum.
Destruction.
Let's put it mildly. But understand or I want to repeat, regardless of the color of your aura, that's not a permanent indicator of your status as far as being able to go to heaven or hell. Your thoughts dictate the color of your aura, which is only a dictionary of your emotions and thoughts. You follow? It's the same way that you stand up facing the mirror, right? And you just have a regular look looking in the mirror. But if you feel a methal coming on, a deep reason to smile, then you look at your facial expression in the mirror, what is it going to show? It's going to show a smile right on your face, right?
Right.
So if you have a pleasant thought inside, the expression on the outside of your body will be reflected as a smile, right?
Right.
Well, whatever kind of thoughts you have on the inside, your aura is going to reflect it according to the color and the intensity of it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But the aura doesn't dictate the color. It only reflects it.
Mm-hmm.
The color is dictated by your thoughts and your moods. That's why with a master, no secret of yours remains behind. And they know every man by his marks, because they look at a man or woman and they look at their light, not at their body. You follow?
Mm-hmm. Follow?
And I don't care how much they smile and pretend and grin. If they see an evil aura, they know it's an evil person. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can't lie in the spirit. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's right. You cannot lie in the spirit. That's why when you're approached by spiritual entities, and you may be confused as to whether they're for you or against you, always ask, are you here for my greater good, yes or no? And whatever the response is, you can take them at that, because you cannot lie in the spirit, neither can they.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
But in the physical realm, people can lie. They can think one thing and say or do another. Hold a poker face, you follow? Be a Decepticon. Not so in the spiritual realm. So if you're a negative being in the spiritual realm, you're just like a big pink elephant. Everybody's staring right at you, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a smoking, crisp devil right out, and just like a sore thumb, just boom, boom, just right out in the open, everybody looking at you. But you got to understand, just the color of your aura shifts you down to a frequency to match that vibration, you understand?
Mm-hmm. Cool.
You can't be a devil in heaven. You throw yourself out with your thoughts. A low thought matches a low vibration. Do you understand? Only.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Now, what the devil's trying to do, they're trying to keep you all vibrating on their frequency, down in hell with them, until it's too late to recover your soul.
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
I have a question.
All right, this first sister, what is your question?
Yes, when we were doing Messiah, when we were doing the star moving, and I saw a rainbow come through the moon. Where did that rainbow come from all of a sudden? I thought we only see rainbows when it rains. I was really surprised as to where it would come from all of a sudden.
Everything that you experience comes from your imagination. Because you are God, you create your own reality, sister. So if you imagine the rainbow, whether you are aware and conscious of it or not, it appeared. Your thoughts manifest, even in dreams. So if you have a dream that's negative or positive, in the spiritual realm, like the aura, it's not a definite fact that it's going to happen like that. What it is one example of a possible future outcome, do you understand? That can be changed by you simply changing your mind. Remember that the fail-safe to heaven and out of hell is always by changing your mind. But if you persist in negative thinking, you form a sort of a ironclad penitentiary of bars of fire around you that you can't extricate yourself from. You tie yourself into your own fire, but the rainbow is an indicator of the fact that this star system, and you have many star systems. By that I mean you have cosmic webs, and there are countless star systems of 51 to 53 stars in a group that are part of their own personal web. That, in other words, let me say about a cosmic web. When they created that big giant telescope to look out into the cosmos, and they could see so many galaxies out there, they noticed that they were all connected with a framework of web-like energy, and that they had a line of energy connecting every galaxy to the next. It's like a giant spider web. Because what it is the oneness. Ba'ut is connected, and nothing is ever divided from itself. Because it would be less than all, and it cannot be less than all and remain all. So that inside these cosmic webs, there are networks of star groupings of like 51 to 53 stars that contain kind of a separate energy, like a dark matter that would really be a part of the whole still. But it could oscillate or vibrate in different frequencies. So that as your solar system passes through a Oort cloud right now, you're entering into a section of the cosmos inside that cloud that's vibrating on a higher frequency. And it's shifting your consciousness to a more positive reality. And as for those that have these lower thoughts, they can't enter into that frequency, and they're getting therefore left behind. But the people that's going into that, what we call the event, they'll experience what you call the rainbow bridge. Meaning they'll enter into reality where the sky has many multiple colors they never experienced or saw before, and there's usually a bridge involved in it. And you have to understand, if you think it's got to be an external condition like rain or sun to create the rainbow, just imagine that when I asked you to close your eyes and imagine the brightest summer day you saw with the sun, you created a sun inside of your mind, right, sister?
Yeah, I never knew it was possible. I've just had evidence of it. I've always seen the rainbow when it rains, but this is quite different.
Another thing you noticed, you never saw a rainbow when it was pitch dark either, did you?
No.
It was always sun there, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm telling you is that the sun and the rain are not necessary conditions for the rainbow. Because you can have the sun in your mind and rain in your mind without a rainbow, am I right?
Exactly. We always like to believe that.
Then that means you can have a rainbow in your mind without the sun or the rain. If I ask you to close your eyes and create a rainbow in your mind, you can see it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's right. So that tells you, sister, that everything is coming from out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is the creator, not your brain, your mind.
So what does it say for those who, who can't see any stars when there's, I know there is not as many stars as there used to be. Does that mean that it's not there, or is it just in our mind as well?
Well, everything is in your mind. But people that are not seeing as many stars are actually entering into another reality, a conscious shift. That's a new reality, a new heaven and a new earth. In the new heaven, there are not as many stars as there used to be in their old reality. You follow me?
Yeah, I follow.
Yes. Go on until you get everything you need from me. Look, sister, can y'all get in touch with Gabab for me? I need his email address. Gabab.
No, what?
Huh?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know it.
Well, get Cheryl. Cheryl can get Gabab's. Sir Camtat in London. Sir Camtat.
Yes. Who is that? I don't know the person.
Well, ask Cheryl.
If I ask Cheryl could possibly email me if you don't mind asking, or if she doesn't mind doing it.
That would be great. But you mean, Cheryl, are you in class right now?
Seconds.
I don't think she's here. You may have to email her. Would you do that for us?
Yes, okay.
Thank
so
you.
why am I getting hold of
Gabab? Because when the brothers came here to work on the computer, they got the address. My address books with thousands of contacts deleted, and they were working to put them back together. And Katat did a very powerful job in getting the books, the contacts back. But one of the familiar contacts was Gabab, and I wanted to keep him, involved in the classes because he was starting to show up more frequently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a lot of potential.
Will I need to give him? Yeah. Will I need to give him my contact details? Is that what you?
Yeah, you should, but give him mine. Let him. When he sends you his email, send it to me, so I can put it back in my contact list.
Okay. I will do.
All right.
Yeah,
I love
will
you.
do. Get hold of Jeff.
Now you got the post for me today, right? You got the post for me yesterday, right?
What post?
I send you the post just before every Thursday and Sunday class. I send you and Cheryl post.
Oh yes, I did. Yes, I did.
But now, what do you do with the post when you get them?
Yeah, I will contact Cheryl, but
no, I mean, what do you do with the post when I send them to you?
Oh, what do I do with the post? I send it through Telegram and the social platform like Twitter and.
You post them up. You repost them all over the world.
Yeah, to as many as I can of the media, social media,
including Telegram, right?
And Telegram, yeah, especially.
Okay. See, that's what people have to understand is that the whole purpose of the mission is for the disciples to spread the information out to the world. That's how you're going to get the success of the group as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if information was coming through me straight from the Creator, right? And we kept that information dumbed down into a circle of, say, maybe 19 people, 8 people, just going around and around in a circle, not going outside the group. When will we raise 144,000 like that?
I'm just so everyone's doing their job, Amun, because it's not very...
And you know how to determine that? You determine that by the size of the classes, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have large classes, everybody's not doing their job, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's not very fair to keep that type of information to oneself, No,
not only that, that's the way to earn hell for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't care enough about your brothers and sisters to make sure that they get to heaven too, you don't really earn heaven.
I even do it to my country, my island in St. Vincent. I said, in the social media with that.
I love you.
I'll send it over there.
I love you. Send it to everybody, not individuals. Send it out to large groups.
No.
And to individuals. All right.
It's a skill.
I love you. Who is that next question?
I had a question.
I'll do my best.
It, but Rahul, bye.
Take your time. It'll come back to you.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you.
Yes. I love you. Anyway.
I love you more. And who am I speaking to, sister?
Thank you. This is Heaven.
Oh, Heaven. Okay, I'm glad to hear your tone. Yes. What is your question, Goddess?
I kind of forgot it, but I'm going to just ask something maybe similar to it.
Okay.
It was about the soul or the spirit being able to leave the body. Is that a thing? Like the soul is like, I don't know exactly what it was based on something that you said prior to, everything. But the soul is able to leave the body? Maybe that's just, the
spirit, you have let me say this, you have your physical body, then you have an inner being. That's the Trinity. That's your Ankh, Ba, and Ka. That's your soul, spirit, and etheric aspect. You understand? Inside of you. So when you have an OBE, or out-of-body experience, that's the aspect of your being that leaves your body. And to leave your body, I don't mean that your inner being has to jump from here to China or another planet. Because everything is vibrating in the same place at the same time at different frequencies, to leave your body, your inner being merely has to shift maybe a 16th or 1/8 of an inch in your body. You understand? This shift outside of just a little bit off center, and you're outside of your body. And then like an artist that can create the illusion of 3 or 4 dimensions, your mind will do the rest. Create the illusion of distance and what have you, you know what I mean? Spatial proximity.
Okay. Hello. Okay.
I want y'all to know it's time to get these spiritual packages. The information has really took a quantum leap. And you should be supporting the mission. You should be supporting the mission anyway. That's your responsibility as one of the 144,000. If you are truly a star child, you will support the mission, get the spiritual packages, and propagate this information to the world. What is your question, sister?
The monoatomic gold that I got from my package, I'm taking it every day now, in the morning before I go to work.
Why do you take it every day rather than when you get ready to move stars and when you come to class or you attempt the OBE?
I take it then too at times. I take it then too, but at first.
Did you take it before class? Did you take it before class?
Class too. Not today. No,
okay, but you don't need to take it every day. I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, I don't know.
That's pretty expensive to be using stuff like that. Huh?
Oh, no. Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to, how I'm supposed to be using it.
You take that. You take one of those spoons you have and put that under your tongue before class, before spiritual exercises like meditation, visualization, moving stars, or coming to class, or before you get ready to attempt OBE.
Okay, what about before? Because I listened to the video, the part of my package. I listened to the videos. What about before that?
That's all right. If that's what you want to do, that'll be fine.
Okay. And what is it?
This should help open up, expand your consciousness, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah. I love you too.
Good to be loved. Next question.
Yes.
All right, while you all try to figure out the next question, I'm going to get my holy tablets. I'm inspired to share something.
I have a question, Amun.
What is your question, brother?
Hey, Amun, my name's Kareem.
Kareem? Kareem?
Kareem, yes, sir.
Degenerous. Degenerous.
Yes, sir.
He used to be in the school of Islam.
Yes, sir.
All right. I am a imam. I'm Imam Ahmed as well. Did you know that?
Yes, sir, I did. I just read that.
Okay. Amantulahi wa malakati wa kitabihi wa rasulihi wa yawmi al-qiyamah, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So my question was, as we come to the end of this lunar cycle, meaning we come into this new cycle, what should we do to prepare ourselves before this ninth year, coming into this new year?
What you should do that's most important is change your diet. Stay away from red meat. Eat vegetables and fruit, especially vegetables, as raw as you can handle it. Drink lots of water. But the most important thing to do is don't keep negative company and make that journey within and learn to forgive yourself. Learn to forgive yourself and others. Because that's what binds you to this world. Old karma, you follow? You have to let go and let God. You have to learn to forgive yourself and others. You become a lot lighter. Your frequency will raise up and you can make the ascension. But old karma is like an anchor. It binds you to the earth. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I love you.
I love you more, Habib. That's the most important thing you can do. Now, son, if you have a holy tablet, that's good. The rest of you should get the holy tablet. Go to chapter 15. If you don't, go to Google and type in Holy Tablets, Dr. Malachi Z. York, Holy Tablets, PDF. And then hit search. It'll take you right to them, okay? And go to chapter 15. Don't be mentally lazy, family. I don't want you saying Amun said. I want you to see this with your own eyes. Let me know when you all get there.
I'm there.
Okay, you there? All right.
Could you repeat that, please?
I'm sorry?
You said chapter 15, and what was the rest of it? What tablet?
No, that's it. Just chapter 15, tablet 1. And it's good to hear your vibration. Uh-huh.
Page 1346 in the hardback.
I'm not sure what it is in the hardback.
No, that's what it is.
Okay. Now, before we go there, I'd like to take you all to chapter 16, tablet 3. Let me speak to you on Shambhala and the beings of it, the cities within the earth. Sorry about that. Just mark chapter 15 and shift over to chapter 16, tablet 3.
from there.
All right. Is everybody there? Salt package page 1496. Tablet 3. Let me speak to you on Shambhala and the beings of it. Lo, Shambhala is the capital of the biggest subterranean world. This great Shambhala gets its name from Shama, which means sent, and Allah, meaning the most beautiful sense of Allah. A trait of those who visit or who will dwell in Shambhala is that their bodies carry distinctive sweet scents. It's a scent of the presence of Allah. Shambhala has been called many things. The Haitians call on a cobra deity of wisdom and fertility named Dambala. The most common is taught by the malevolent beings is hell. Thus the term "oh hell" or "hello," a common greeting of Satanists, simply meaning hell is low. When no hell is used in the Torah, it's for a tent, or the sacred tent of Jehovah, a tabernacle. We find the word "oh hell," this sacred tent of Yahuwah. The sacred tabernacle refers to the inner city called Shambhala or Agartha. Fear not, for in your secular teachings, you have been taught also of Shambhala, yet it was called hell. In Islam, it was called Jahannam, Sa'ir, the fiery pit, or, many other names. Hatamat, where the wicked will go to be tormented by malicious evil beings called demons, overseen by Satan, the father of evil, a word found in the Torah as evil and means a despiser of wisdom, a quarrelsome being, a being without morals. Rahubat, mute your phone. Or in the case of the Islamic world, Malik. That's the warden over hell. The fact that subterranean worlds exist is quite ancient. In all the ancient teachings of the Egyptians, Zoroastrians, Hindus, Mayans, and Japanese are legends of the existence of the underworld. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, a strange boatman had charge of the souls of the dead. The boat would either transport the human soul up into the region of the stars, or if the soul needed more basic training, or possibly more discipline, the boatman would pilot the souls along the river Styx. And this river led deep down into the interior of the earth. Many of the chambers of the pyramids lead to the inner world. In the small village of Casal, Guala, Italy, in the year 1902 AD, workmen who were digging a well literally fell into the earth. What they discovered was the outer room of the Maltese cave entrance. Since the well was to be dug for a house which was on the main street named Hypogeum of Hell, Savlianti, named after the street beneath in which it was discovered. A hypogeum is the Latin name for an underground structure. Later, this series of underground rooms were discovered to have been located in the middle of an ancient Neolithic village. From the construction of the entrance stones, it is now assumed that at certain times, a human sacrifice was chained before the entrance. The entrance and the walls and ceiling of some of the passageways and rooms have been found to be decorated with red ochre and primitive art designs. However, when first discovered, the three caves were crammed with as many as 30,000 skeletons of men, women, and children. In South and Central America, as well as in Mexico, the ancient people did acknowledge the existence of subterranean caves, chambers, or tunnels. The Zoroastrians of Mexico have faith that just as there are 13 heavens, sometimes 9 or 12. There are 9 subterranean levels to which the deceased must pass before reaching the underworld, Mitzlan, land of the dead, also called Kirtanachitlan, ninth place of the dead. The Lord of this underworld is Mitzlan Tichuhitli, the Lord of the dead. How true this hell is. What is within one of the caverns of the planet Earth called Sheol. The Greeks call it Hades, where disagreeable humans are sentenced into the malicious hands of gargoyles and leprechauns, headed by a great reptilian, and there are 16 species. That wears the name Satan. You have been taught by religion that hell is somewhere down there. It is also referred to as a sort of in-between place known as purgatory or limbo for souls. And neither of these words can be found in the scriptures of which they used to preach from. There are 2 words used in the New Testament for hell, Hades and Jinnah. The Quran mentions hell and has 7 different words for hell. Jahannam, Jahim, Sekar, Sa'ir, Hawiyah, Lazar, and Hatimah. This is the place that religion teaches is within the earth, where human beings go if they should be unlucky as not to make the grade on the surface of the earth. Now, regardless to what hell is called, each religion teaches that this is the dwelling place of Leviathan, which is the sea demon, and the scriptures that your servant Moses, called in tongues Moshe and in rhythm Musa, received in the scroll of Exodus, the 20th degree, the 4th verse, and I quote, Here the Yahoo, the children of Israel, made it clear that they were not supposed to have any other deities other than him, that reside not in the planet Earth, or not in the skies above, or not under the waters, and this is the most important point, it says not inside the planet Earth. This is the confession on Yahuwah's behalf that there are other deities beside him that can be worshipped if you choose to disobey. But most of all, that some or at least one live inside the planet Earth. So the Torah confirms the place inside the planet Earth. That would mean Hebrews, Christians, and Muslims who accept the Torah as the Word of God would have to accept this fact. And I want to go back to the Prophet Mustafa Muhammad Alameen Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was in the cave at Mount Hira. They were searching for him, and the spider built a web in front of the cave. That when the angel Gabriel showed up as a ball of light to him and said to him, Ikra Bismi Rabbi Alayka, read in the name of your Lord, Muhammad repeated that he was Ummi. I am not a reader. After saying this 3 times, Gabriel pressed him hard and shook him and said, read. Your Lord knows surely best what he created. Now, what book do you think that Muhammad was ordered to read right there?
Quran?
No, it wasn't the Quran because the Quran hadn't been revealed yet.
Was it the Ratib?
No, the Ratib was revealed 19 imams later after his descendant Ahmed, the Mahdi in Sudan. No, he was ordered to read the Torah right then. He had to learn that which came before. As the angel Gabriel, during this mission, revealed to him surah after surah while he rode his camel Qazam. And every time the angel would give him a surah, he would vibrate and shake so violently he would fall off the camel and just recite it, and his men would write it down on animal skins or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the Torah hadn't come out yet. I mean, the Quran hadn't come out yet. Okay, and not only that the Quran of the Muslims in the 6th degree and the 35th verse, you will not make for yourself any idol at all, any likeness in the skies above, or that is upon the planet Earth, or inside the planet Earth, or under the waters of the planet Earth. And if their shunning, avoiding the fact, be hard upon you, Muhammad, Then, if you are able to seek an opening into the planet Tiamat, Earth to Shambhala, Sin of Allah, or a ladder ascending up into the sky to Malakut, so that you, Muhammad, can bring them a sign, a miracle. And if it please the source, Elilu, he would gather them unto a true guidance. So don't be of the ignorant ones. That is in the pure translation. Or at least they say it is my translation. I'll give you theirs. So it's found in the Quran of Allah, which to them has no doubt, no doubt in it. Then don't doubt that the Nafukan, Il'ad, or tunnel into the planet Earth is to Shambhala. If their spinning is hard on thy mind, yet if thou wert able to seek a Nafukan, Il'ad, tunnel in the earth, or a ladder to the skies, and bring them a sign, what good? If it were God's will, he could have gathered them together into true guidance. With those facts proven, let us speak first of Shambhala and Agartha, the real place. This palace of illumination within the earth has a central sun, which is 600 miles in diameter. Everybody know how that sun got there and that hole in the center of the earth?
I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
It was one of the four winds from
Nibiru.
No.
That Nibiru had in a gravitational field with the tetrahedral signs that attacked him from Meldeck.
That's it, Meldeck. So the crowd from Meldeck, four of them, one of the winds
skipped over the earth and crossed out the Grand Canyon, and one hit the pole and went through the center of the earth. Right, and that large ship burst into flame. But Nibiru, the scientists thinking quick, shot a laser beam of ball lightning down into the center of the earth through that hole and hit that large chunk of metal, and it ignited into a sun. A 600-mile diameter sun, yes.
Yep, that's how it happened.
And I knew you were on the right track, and I thank you. Okay.
I know it.
The inner city is called Agartha, which holds the meaning through the hole. The temple within the subterranean world is called Golden Palace. That's Walhalla, the Golden Palace. Or the Syriac Arabic, Walhalla, meaning place of illumination, or with the golden aura, which is located in the capital called Shambhala, meaning centered of Allah. Shambhala is also known as Ashara. Shambhala itself is the holy place where the earthly world links with the higher states of consciousness. In the East, they know there exist two Shambhalas, an earthly and invisible one. Many speculations have been made about the location of the earthly Shambhala. Certain indications put this place in the extreme north, explaining that the rays of the aurora borealis are the rays of the invisible Shambhala. What happens is that the inner sun, it reflects off the oceans in the center of the earth, and as the waves flow back and forward, the light thickens off the surface of the water and creates the aurora borealis like waves in the sky of color. However, the aurora borealis is simply a reflection of the central sun, also called the black sun. Shambhala is made from atoms of the five elements with their potentialities projected into the center of the unconditioned empty space. Some say that Shambhala is the hidden city of goodness and can be reached through meditation. That's true. While Agartha is the material subterranean realm threatening us with eruption. Nearly 6,000 years ago, the inhabitants of Hyporia migrated to the region now covered by the Gobi Desert, and that founded a new seat. People flocked in all directions to this center of the world. They enjoyed thousands of years of this great civilization. However, another catastrophe occurred. Its cause unknown. The surface of this region was devastated, but Agartha survived underground. Many crafts seen by surface people that are aerodynamically built come from various caverns beneath the planet Earth. Some of these crafts are built by Boeing, too. Where many beings now dwell, which one is occupied by the Earthlings and the Flugel rods, and another by the Diwani, and another by the Greys. And by the fact, you all can look up the Diwani, Google Diwani, YouTube, and you can see them playing violins by the entrance of a cave in front of a boat. And another by the Greys, another by the Duniaco, and another by the Tiros, whose cabin is close to the Duniaco. And of course the D-Rose. And they're real because you have effigies of them all over China. You hear me? In the past, there were 8 cabins. To date, there are far more. Their aerodynamic construction is in itself a confession of their earthly origin. For intergalactic travelers need not worry themselves with aerodynamics. Shambhala is a galactical United Nations, as opposed to Earth surface national United Nations. Shambhala has the largest library and medical library on this side of the galaxy. Shambhala has climate control, and there are no volcanoes and earthquakes. Environment controls implies that there is disease control. And unlike your world, there are no years, months, and days. Being that the sun is in the center of the inner world, and the planet is not moving around anything, your planet is not solid rock. There are 3 major divisions on Earth: the inner core, the outer core, and the crust. It's a very thin layer. It is 1,800 miles thick. It is called the mantle. Outer core, liquid core. The outer core does not much affect the events of the Earth's surface. However, its fluid motion generates the magnetic field. Because these motions are generally latitudinal, like the planetary winds, the magnetic poles tend to lie close to the axis of the rotation. Beneath your very feet is a region whose radius is 6,294 kilometers. The Earth's radius is 3,693 miles from the pyramids in Egypt today. The actual circumference of the Earth is 24,896 miles, and the diameter is 7,926 miles. All right? Anybody have any questions about that? Or anything else? This is you all's class. Where would you like to go next? Go ahead.
I had a question.
Yeah, you can get to the inner Earth through meditation very easy. Go ahead. What's your question, son?
So it's a tetrahedron science that's been used to keep the Earth intact right now?
Yes, to keep the 4 winds together.
Okay, so that's still going on. Okay. So
because of the west wind that hit the Earth and bore a hole into it and ate out the center, that impact alone would have split the Earth. It was the tetrahedron sciences enacted by the scientists on the Beirut that kept the 4 winds from folding until the 144,000 are sealed in their forehead, okay? Then they're going to let go of the 4 winds. The tetrahedron science is also used to create the Merkaba, or the Merkaba, the movable throne, usually in your forehead. That's a seat that allows you to shift or transform from one galaxy or planet to another, or one reality or dimension to another. It looks like a diamond of light in your forehead when it's activated, spinning.
And that's that green light that appeared on your forehead, the seal?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Around the third eye area. That's the Merkaba. The movable throne.
Okay.
Next question. I love you.
I love you more.
Next question.
I got a question.
I'll do my best.
with all of that going on, is that part of the reason why they most of the Grand Canyon, they won't let you enter into it?
Yeah, because of the different and various energies down there. But again, one of those four winds, which were battle star like galactic large crafts that was sent out to attack Nibiru, was trapped inside the gravitational listings of Nibiru by the tetrahedron science. It too, when Nibiru got close enough to Earth, as a satellite, it hit the Earth, but it carved out the Grand Canyon and the Snake River Valley. And then it kept up enough speed to bounce back off Earth out into space. But there are many energies down there that were released that they try to protect people from the information of their existence, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, archaeologists can read the history of the planet Earth by propelling downward in an astrological chair on a rope from the top to the very bottom through the layers they go down. And like the layers on the rings of a tree that's cut down, it's a visible history of the weather and events and the species that existed during that time period in every layer of strata. You follow me? In other words, the lower down they drop, the further they go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that when they got to the very bottom, they saw the first signs of life as simple one-celled organisms, and that they started propelling back up toward the surface through the layers. They watched through millions of years how this single cell begin to split and divide and become multi-cellular beings or creatures until they evolved into insects. And millions of years later, into simpler creatures and simpler, till they got all the way to the top layers, and they started finding out that they had evolved into Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens, but Homo erectus, Australopithecus, the great apes, the lairs and chimpanzees, etc., primates. Well, what they noticed is that in the next layer, in just a 600-year period, not millions of years, they had evolved from living in trees and being monkeys into building pyramids and create light-amplified stimulation emission radiation or laser beams and use the levitation to build pyramids, etc. with. And the confusion was, how could that happen in 600 years? They could go from monkeys to people, more advanced than the people in the world are to now. And they couldn't figure it out, so they called that the missing link. You understand? But the missing link occurred when the Elohim, the extraterrestrials, came to Earth. And they came to Earth because they were in search of a metal called Nu by them that you call gold. They were in search of that in large quantities to refine it and powder it, to sprinkle it in the atmosphere of their home planet, to repair the atmospheric hole that was created by a plutonium bomb by this negative being that allowed the tri-solar system to penetrate ultraviolet poisonous rays to the surface and made it uninhabitable, so they had to migrate away. That's how many of you got here. And in the process of mining for that gold, even though they had very advanced technology, the Elohim thought that they were too good to do manual labor, and they refused and threw the tools down and stopped. But the head scientist, Enki, son of Anu, called the council together and divided the plan. He said that he had searched the earth over, and he had found a primitive creature here, speaking about the chimpanzees and bears, the orangutans and Homo erectus, and that they could use them to bind their own image on in laboratories that they created in Egypt. They call it Shimti, on Earth, the dark side of the moon, and on Mars. 3 laboratories, and so they decided to have a 600-year project, 100 years for gathering species, 400 years for genetic manipulation, and 100 years for training. And they would take the egg of the ape woman, place it in a petri dish, and take the Sharu and Tima of an intelligent Anunnaki male named Gastu, and mix it with that egg of the ape woman, and got that culture to grow. And an Anunnaki woman volunteered her womb. Her name was Mamie, Mother Ninti. And they surgically used in vitro fertilization to place that culture inside on the walls of her womb. And after many failed efforts, they finally produced a man and a woman in their image and likeness. So thorough was the transformation that when the man that they made stood next to the Elohim man, and the woman they made stood next to the Elohim woman, knew they couldn't tell one from the other, except with the male, he had extended foreskin on his penis. So they enacted the law of circumcision, and now you can't tell Anunnaki from human, man or woman. When you look at the walls of the pyramids, you can see they're all identical. And that's how people are made, like an hourglass, perfected beings. And the tablet said that we made Akhman in the best of our makes, meaning that in my youth and my normal weight, that when you measured me from the tip of my fingers to my wrist, and then from my wrist to my elbow, and from my elbow to my shoulder, and from my shoulder to my neck, all the measurements were exactly the same. And the tip of my feet to the back of my feet, and from my wrist, to from the top of my feet to the bottom of my knee was the same as from the top of my knee to the top of my thigh, and that the circumference of my waist was the same. And when I extended my arms out side to side, my fingers from tip to tip were the exact same length as I was from head to toe. And those are the dimensions of a human man, a human being. Understand that. The man and the woman were made perfect in the image and likeness of God. But it was your boy that wrote the book on genetics that called it a missing link, because he didn't understand how monkeys could start reading and doing advanced mathematics and creating large structures and agricultural feats and wonders like that in a 600-year period, because it was totally impossible. Right? So what's the next question?
Yeah, I've got a few questions about that.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. I've heard bits and pieces of it. Which came first? Were we implanted in the dolphin, the cell, or was that before the being came to the land into Homo erectus, or was it a different seeding altogether?
All right. What happened is that when the Riskians
used,
when the Elohim came to Earth, they wanted to land, but they had to see. They took EBEs, extraterrestrial biological entities and robotoids that they sent down to Earth to check the atmospheric, water, and soil conditions to see if it was conducive to their lifestyle. And when they found out it wasn't, they couldn't survive in the atmosphere. They flew back to the planet Melaldeck and searched out the seas, and they netted a lot of dolphins from Melaldeck. And they surgically implanted HAR1 and HAR2, a Riskian gene, inside the dolphins. And then flew them to Earth and released them in the seas, and they started evolving. And eventually came up as the sand people in Africa, okay?
Yeah,
and that was after Homo erectus and what have you. Okay?
That was after, was it?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So I'd like to know what. Okay. Whose seed in that case was it that was used for the Sand people? Which seeding? I mean, which Anunnaki? Was it Anunnaki?
That was Enki that bred with them with the female Ptahide, because when they landed in Sumeria and Sumer, the Anunnaki, the council called a gathering to decide who would be the ruler on Earth. And instead of choosing Enki, because he was the eldest and the wisest scientist, because of his mixed heritage being part reptilian, they chose his brother Enlil over him, his younger brother, and he got mad and migrated to Kanawa, to Africa. And where the Sumerians were raping women, Mesopotamian little people came to him freely. But he found out that when they gave birth, that the babies would quickly develop into albinos. So as the master scientist he was, he created elements to place on the genes so they could maintain their melanin, and they do to this day. Okay?
They could maintain their melanin. So
yes.
There's a different seeding with the albino, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So could I just ask as well, why did they decide to not use the ape man genetics rather than the female?
Well, probably because of the genetic markers. The female carries a genetic marker called mitochondria DNA, so that they could check the progress over thousands and even millions of years. You follow me? The evolution. But men don't possess the mitochondria DNA. That's why when they get married, they give the woman her name, his name. That's the only thing he can transfer from bloodline to bloodline is his name. Women don't have to give their name because they give the genetic mitochondrial DNA as a marker. You follow? And all of her female children pass that marker on. So they could know that 15 years later, that child came from Lucy. You follow me? In Ghana, in Africa, 15,000 years ago, or 150,000 years ago. You understand?
Yes.
But they wouldn't know who the fathers were.
Yeah, I understand. So my question is why couldn't they use their own genetics rather than, wait so long and come back again to see if the seeding was successful? Why didn't they use more of their genetics?
Well, they did, but it was different extraterrestrial beings that came here. And you have to remember that you're talking about immortal beings, sister. So time was of no consequence to them. You follow me? So 100,000 years, 1,000 years to the Most High is like a day to you. You understand?
Yes.
It wasn't a long time to them. You understand?
No, yeah, I do understand it. So what you're saying, there was different projects in different sides of the.
That's right.
Different side of the.
And they're still ongoing, right?
Yeah.
They're abducting people every day. Go ahead.
Yeah, that you said that that the Australia, they didn't have the same kind of experiment.
They didn't have the barytheric gland removed in Australia.
Yeah.
So you have the Aborigines. I'm sorry.
Specific reason?
Say it again.
I'm asking why that was that? Why did they do that?
Because they called Australia down under, so it wasn't really part of the geographical larger continents that they considered part of their project. It was kind of off grid. So they didn't surgically remove the barytheric gland from the Aborigines. Right? That's why many of the Aborigines, when they had the first space flights that would circumambulate the Earth, such as John Glenn, the Aborigines could go out on the Australian plains and communicate mind to mind with those crafts and anybody in space. And that's when they first realized that they still had their barytheric glands intact.
So
they called it dream world. Huh?
Yeah. What you're saying is the Aborigines was more highly advanced.
I'm saying that they still have their barytheric glands advanced. I mean, activated, yeah. But when you say advanced, it's a different thing in society. Take, for example, the Mayan tribes in South America. They were much more advanced than these people are today. What the white man calls advancement technology, in other words, computers and things like that, he calls that advanced. It's not advanced. Advanced is spiritual advancement. Do you understand?
Yes.
So they were advanced in the way that mattered. They could make the shift and transform into immortals and become gods, etc. The white man thinks making a computer makes him advanced. But he's a monkey.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. So theirs is more artificial advancement.
That's why they call it AI, artificial intelligence.
But what you said about Inky and the Albert.
And what they try to do is they try to get you to focus on 5G instead of 5D. Go ahead.
Yeah, instead of the dimension. Yeah. So what I'm saying also, that means that the albino were the first one rather than the melanated being. If you said that E.G., when he did his experiment, that he gave birth to the albino, that means they're more advanced than the Negroids then, that the melanated beings.
No.
Is it that they... Sorry.
No. The melanin made you a supreme... The melanin made you a supreme being because it gave the best protection from the sun and disease and many other things.
So that means you can't say that the melanated was... Yeah, they're advanced in that way. But that means with a combination of the white and the black, there was no such thing as the melanated being first. It was a bit of both.
Well, let me put it. The Sand people were Africans, and they still exist. Look up the Sand people of Africa. But they were like a reddish texture. Like they wasn't really black like Africans, and they had like sandy hair. They have like but they have like sandy hair.
So they were more.
But they were 9 or 3.
Yellow.
Listen, they had male carrying hair. Each nap had its own route. You can see the spaces on their head. They was niggas.
Yes.
Well, I want you to understand this about genes. Look it up. The brown gene and the black gene are the exact same gene. You have the white gene, yellow gene, red gene, but the brown and black gene are the exact same gene. You hear me, sister?
Yes, I do. I do understand you now. So
they're the exact same one.
Yes.
There is no difference between brown people and black people. Not any.
Yes.
Except, of course, in the minds of some.
Yes. Sorry, that's enough question now.
I love you. It's
Thank
time
you.
to go out and move these stars now. And that's a spiritual exercise that everybody that considers himself a star person needs to participate in. So I'd like the Muslim brother, to go outside and see what you see first in the sky. What are you going to move for us tonight? And everybody else in London and Africa and all over the world. Who's going to be the first one? This is what the Mayans and all the advanced societies did. They were masters in the spiritual realm. What are you people in Florida going to move? In Virginia? In Ohio? In D.C.? All right, I'm turning off the light in my room, and they closing the door. They going outside. Who's going to be the first one to move something in the sky for us, using their mental powers as they reactivate HAR1, the Riskian gene inside of them?
I will. Here in Ohio.
Okay, what do you see in Ohio?
I'm sorry.
I was telling you it's cloudy, Amun.
All right, the next person I love you. The next person going to move something for us, the brother. Where are you located?
It's cloudy. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. All right, what do you see in the sky?
I see a bright star right beside the moon, to the right of it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you something. Why don't you just move the moon? Because if the star's in close proximity, when I move the moon, the star going to move with it. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let's move the moon up in the name of Amun-Rayay.
I move the moon up in the name of Amun-Rayay. Awesome.
You see it going, right?
Aura.
Yeah. Now drop it down. Now drop it down.
Drop down in Amun-Rayay.
The star went with it, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. So whenever you move in celestial objects, if they're too close together, when I exert power on one, it's going to affect the one closest to it, okay?
Okay.
That's why I can't move the stars in Orion belt separate from moving the whole constellation. My energy is too powerful, okay?
Okay.
Next person, thank you.
Yes, it's raining. Can't do very much on my end.
I love you.
It's raining in London.
But you've been doing a lot. Next person. What you got in Florida, June?
Got quite a few stars out here.
Why don't you move all of them?
Nothing bright though.
Move all of them.
All of them.
Let's move them all to the left in the name of Amun-Rayay.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, all the creation move left. There we go.
There you go, right?
Yeah, it's going.
Yes, I feel.
Now all creation, raise up in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Moving up.
Out of there. Moving up.
All creation, drop down.
Boom.
All right. When are you going to move Anukas outside in Georgia? When are you going to move in Georgia, Anukas? Thank you, son. When are you going to move in Georgia?
I see a star. I'm going to move a star.
Which
In the
way?
name of Amun, move up. It's moving up. In the name of Amun, drop down. And it's dropping down fast. In the name of Amun, move to the right.
Moving right.
It's moving right. In the name of Amun, move back to the left.
Oh boy. Moving left.
It's moving left. Wobble.
All right. It did wobble. It dropped a little bit. I'm going to let you all go, and I'm looking for your donations and spiritual packages and for you to spread this information to the world. I am Nitia Authority, Amun-Rayay Asa, the only real Messiah, here for you, the 144,000. Peace.